attempt to escape from Roblox's most secure music studio. I need to use whatever I can to solve puzzles and escape before the time runs out. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Here is how it went. So I spawned into this room and I really just wanted to take in everything around me just to make sure that when the timer started, I was ready. As soon as it started, I noticed that there was this synthesizer looking thing with a bunch of colors on it, which I thought might be a code at some point. I looked over here at these flute looking things and they didn't really do anything. Light didn't do anything, but I noticed this drum set and it says I should be able to play this, but not now. I went over to this thing and I noticed that these little squares on the wall were actually able to change color. I thought that maybe it had something to do with this big old thing on this wall, but the number of panels here didn't really line up. I didn't remember though on the synthesizer that there were these colors there and I thought maybe these would work perfect. I put the colors in and it opened up a door into this room with a bunch of different stuff. I noticed there was these Roman numerals. I noticed there was this grid looking thing with dots, which definitely had to do with some sort of puzzle. There was a locked door over here and it said it needed a 6-letter code. I noticed all these buttons right here and I noticed that the number of buttons was the exact same number as all of these tiles on the wall. So what I did was I made the lighter colored panels on the buttons were up and the darker colored ones were down. So I just transferred everything over and it actually, at first I didn't really think it did anything, but I noticed that it opened this key right here. There's a lot of doors in this area, so I checked the key on every single door. It didn't work on this first one right here, even though it says it needs a key. Obviously this wasn't the right key. This door needed a 4-digit code, so it definitely wasn't that one. And this door right here says that it looks like a bunch of bones, which was really weird. I had no idea about that. I remembered that I had seen some Roman numerals earlier, which if you actually look is 1285, which is a 4-digit code. So I went back over here and I tried 1285, but unfortunately that did not work. I looked again in the room with all the instruments and I could just not figure out what to do from here. I really couldn't. I decided to look into this room that I couldn't get into because it was locked, and I noticed on the coffee table were the drumsticks that I needed. I also noticed that if I actually turn my body around and scroll my camera out, I am able to look at everything inside of the room. There are 3 posters and the third one actually gives you a table that tells you what notes to play, and I looked at that and it really reminded me of the little black dots that I saw on the grid. So I actually was able to take those notes, which was FACE going up, and create the code ACFEAC. I put that code into the panel and it actually opened the door. Inside this room was a bunch of different random things. There was a video camera, a printer. I saw there's a poster on the wall that didn't do anything, a light that didn't do anything. And this camera, when I clicked it, it said I could use it as a camera, but it didn't know what to take a picture of. Behind the green screen was a guitar pick, which was another thing that I needed, which was great. I went and I put it into the guitar and well, nothing happened. I was super confused as to why, but I went ahead and clicked it again, and this time it actually started playing some music. I didn't know what to do with that information, but I figured it would be helpful. And then what I did was I actually used that camera trick from earlier and I was able to steal the drumsticks from the coffee table without opening the door. Obviously this is a bit of a glitch and I probably shouldn't have been able to do that, but I mean, if the game lets you do it, then I guess I'll do it. I went to the drum set to try and play the music, and for some reason the drum set wasn't playing like the guitar was. I could play the hi-hats as you can hear, but the drum set just was not really working. I went back into the green screen room to see if there was anything else that was useful in here. I looked behind the green screens again and there really just wasn't anything. There was just this camera and I thought that maybe it wants me to take a picture of myself, but that didn't work either. Once I left that room though, I noticed that there was this thing that I missed where you have these lights that turn on and off. I tried looking around to see if there was a clue as to which ones I should turn on and which ones I should turn off, but I just really couldn't find anything. I looked everywhere, every single corner of the map. Nothing made sense as to which ones to turn on and which ones to turn off. And I figured, you know what? If I'm not able to figure it out by that, then I might as well just try every single possible combination. That's a good idea, right? It took me so long, and I think it actually took until the very last possible combination that I tried for something to actually happen. But as soon as I hit the last button on somehow it working, it opened this door, and I just could not believe it. I could not believe that the door actually opened. Inside this room was some boxes, this thing that said instruments, and it had some instruments instruments in order. The other side had another locked door that of course I couldn't get into, so I scrolled into the room again. I couldn't click anything this time, but I noticed that there was these colors on the wall, and I just kept those in my mind for later. There was really nothing that I could do in this room yet because obviously I wasn't able to get into it, and there was no way of me glitching again. I tried to click on like this note right here, and I couldn't click like I did the drumstick, so no cheating. I went back to the synthesizer because I noticed the colors on the wall, and I thought maybe there's a way that I could touch the colors of these buttons in that order, but it didn't really work. At this point, I'm just clicking around and trying to figure out anything that might work, and I clicked on this poster, and it says something about a silhouette, which for some reason was what I needed to do in order for the camera to take a picture of me in the green screen room. So as soon as I finally figured that out, all that did was gave me the right combination to the lights over here. That's how you're supposed to properly do that, instead of actually trying until it works. It would have been nice to know, but I mean, what am I gonna do? I remembered that sign from earlier that told me the remaining instruments, and I had a really good idea where I thought if I click on the guitar and I click on all these instruments in order, like the guitar, the piano, and then the drums, then maybe it would unlock that door. But unfortunately, I was always able to turn on the guitar and then the piano, but the drum set would never play. I turn on the guitar, I turn on the piano, everything plays just fine, but then every time I go to the drum set, it just was not working. I could not turn on the drum set. I tried this until there were 20 seconds left, and I just could not figure it out. I went all over the place, nothing made any sense, and unfortunately, this time I ended up running out of time. I was so confused. I thought maybe there was a bug or a glitch, and I just wasn't able to do it, or maybe I just missed something really, really obvious. If you look at the badges, 15 people won this yesterday, so this is 100% possible. I am determined to get this. I was determined to get this badge, so I decided to load it up and try again. I actually noticed this key right here, which was exactly what we needed to get into the lounge instead of glitching earlier, so that's good. I went ahead and did the color code. I opened up this door into the green screen room. I did the up-down code again, got this key, and of course it didn't work again. I was in the exact same position, and for some reason, it just was not working. I thought, okay, all we need to do is go to my private server. It's not working in a public server. Maybe it'll work in a private server. Nope. It also was not working in a private server. So then I was like, okay, maybe it's because I am in a multiplayer map and I'm by myself. So I got my alt account and I thought maybe that would shake things up a bit. And to my surprise, when I got the drumsticks and I went to put them in the drum, something was actually different. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, so this was my problem. The whole time I just had to bring in somebody else. And it had this thing come up across the bottom where I had to put in these letters every time they came across the screen. The unfortunate thing though is if you mess up, you have to start over from the very beginning. I did this for so long. If you guys look at the timer in the top right corner, you can see I spent so much time on this. It didn't make any sense to me. I thought I was gonna run out of time before this finally ended, and I just didn't know when it was gonna happen. And then I figured there had to be something else here. I was doing something wrong. So I went in to go look at that poster and, well, the poster wasn't even there. Of course, we still couldn't get into this room either. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I am going to just give up again. I'm going to leave on my alt account. That is the only thing we could do. And as soon as I left on my alt account, look at this. Look at this, the sign is back. I honestly think that this just means that the game is set up for you to do it solo and multiplayer, and you have two different experiences depending on how you do it, whether it's with somebody or not. Anyway, I tried it again. I did guitar, I did piano, I did drums. And you guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? The drums are actually working. I couldn't believe it. I restarted, I did the guitar, I did the piano, I did the drums. I seriously could not believe that this was working. I did the piano 2 times, did the synthesizer and the guitar again, and I could just tell that it worked, and I just freaked out. Internally, I was screaming. I went into the room that was finally unlocked, and I looked at the note, and it told us exactly what we needed in order to get the code for that other door, which was perfect. I also noticed in this room was this puzzle on this side. As soon as I clicked it, it went all haywire and crazy, and I obviously had to solve this. I am really, really bad at solving these kinds of puzzles, like really, really bad. But eventually I actually asked Lastic and she came and solved it for me, which was perfect. And I finally got another key. So I put in the 4-digit code from the note that we got earlier, which worked, and I was super happy that that opened the door. But I realized in this playthrough, I hadn't done this puzzle yet. So I went ahead, I got the other key, and I had key A, key be. I put it into this chest. I got the bone key, which was amazing. I put the bone key into the door, and ladies and gentlemen, after so long, this took me hours, we finally escaped, and we finally got the badge. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This was totally crazy. If you actually pull up the badges right here, you can see we finally own it. It's something that we have obtained, and in this game Escape Room, until the sequel comes out, this is the last one we need. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you guys next time.